Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yo, what's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right. You tuned into another episode of the Viewers Anonymous podcast where we give you our very own reviews and takes of movie and TV straight out of Hollywood. What's going on with you, my guy?
Man, listen, I can't call it, man. I will say this. I am glad that we got this little holiday out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Stuff, didn't go down as planned, So really things are back. I'm glad things are back to normal, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate the day off. You know what I'm saying? But back at it though. How you feeling though, man? Everything good with you? Had a good holiday?
Man, I had a very decent holiday, man. I can't complain about it. I am wore down though, you know what I'm saying? Suffering a hangover, but outside of that, I'm fighting through it like a champion, man. Been pretty good. Didn't have to light up no fireworks, you know what I'm saying? Because the rest of the neighborhood provided that. So,
but I'm right with you.
Kids to go see the fireworks show. They already had one in the backyard, so it's pretty good.
Hey, but I am with you on that, man. It's the same thing over here, man. Last year they had my whole neighborhood lit up, and this is the part that pissed me off. They didn't do it this year, but last year, dude, man, they were doing that shit at 1:30 in the morning. It's like, man, what y'all doing, man? Chill out. But
here they do that shit all week, so we hear that shit every night for a week.
Nah, man. It's just because the fireworks stands are open, it don't mean y'all gotta shoot them shits every day.
I hope they buy them motherfuckers up so they can quit exploding them motherfuckers. I hate fireworks, man. When I was a kid, I used to love them. I used to be a fucking pyromaniac, but like the older I got, and the more and more I used them, I realized that they was like super cheaply made at this point, and they super faulty. Yeah, I'm cool. My brother blew up his hand last year.
See, that's the thing, man. See, like I've only got it to a point where, you know what I'm saying, why it gave me like a blister. Like we used to get the one joint, the little tiny, you know what I'm saying, TNT joints, and we used to throw them bad boys. And like sometimes the thing would be long, but it should have burned real quick. And right before you get to throw it, that motherfucker pop on your ass. And like we used to hold the fucking rocket joints and let them shoot out of our hand. I was like, man, we were terrible.
Shoot that shit. We used to do all kind of stupid shit. But nah, he was getting one of them ones that you put on the ground, and he had, instead of using the incense like most people do, he using a lighter, and he had lit it, and that motherfucker caught up quick. He tried to move out the way, and boom, blew his shit up.
Damn.
Yeah, he been in therapy all year. And he finally able to, you know what I'm saying, do everything. And he like a half strength right now. But I was like, yeah, I told him. And the crazy part is I told him that day, like, bro, don't go get no motherfucking fireworks, man. The motherfuckers ain't shit. He ain't want to listen. So he was about to be out here like Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, man. Got to be more careful, man. I thought you were going to say Jason Pierre-Paul about this piece.
Jason, he was almost worse than that. Motherfucker almost had a nub, man.
You remember he got three. He only got 3 fingers left. He got two fingers off.
Yeah, but like his shit, it was from here all the way to like there. That shit split open. He couldn't use his fingers for like 6 months, bro.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
I think Jason Pierre-Paul. I think it was like his ring finger and his pinky, man, and all he got is the other 3, boy. He still played in the NFL for a couple years after that.
Great 3-point stance.
Come on, man. That's not funny. You should have did the choir thing.
There you go. Oh, man. This is all right. I told you I love this fucking board, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I wish I had it. I wish I had it outside with me though, bro. That nigga got drunk and he kept talking. I wanted to hit the button on him like, you keep talking, man. Shut the fuck up. Huh?
You gotta have the board on call.
Bro, I need one with a speaker on it, man. That should be so fun, bro. But yeah, man, I had a good time. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was able to put out most of that liquor when I was barbecuing, so that was good enough.
Whew. But I had got that grill, man. As soon as I got done, but I had to take another shower, but
Man.
I had grill duty.
Mhm.
Woo. But yeah, man. I had to find time to squeeze this in last night, man.
Yeah, bro. I had to watch it twice. I watched it last night and I watched it today.
Oh boy, that's what's up right there. You got that shit fresh on the mind.
Yeah, like man, I tried to watch it last night, but the phone kept ringing. I had to keep jumping on the phone. Then shit. By the time I was able to even get everything together and do that shit, it was like 12 o'clock. And then I got like halfway through it, fell asleep, woke up this morning, and it was still on the screen. So I realized like I watched it, but I ain't watched the whole thing. So I rewatched it where I left off at and finished it up. So yeah, man.
That's what's up,
Uh,
man. I'm very interested to hear what you think about this because, like, even when we was doing the coming soon, you remember it like during that time, like this movie was like highly regarded, and
yeah.
you was like you
Yeah.
never see it. He was like you wanted to see if it lived up to the hype.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
I guess we go ahead and get started on it. Basically, like from its, you know what I'm saying, with the story, because I know this is based off like a book or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah. But the story, you know what I'm saying, is it's a pretty interesting story. For the people who don't know, the synopsis of it is pretty much a guy who used to be a teacher. He ended up catching his wife cheating, went through a mental breakdown. He was in the mental asylum for a small amount of time,
8 months.
8 months. He ended up getting out and moving back with his parents to, you know what I'm saying, basically get back on his feet and get back to his life. And in the midst of that, he meets her name is Tiffany.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, he ends up meeting Tiffany. Well, no, they didn't. They weren't just meeting; they knew each other, right?
yeah. What? No, 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 no. It was his best friend's wife's sister, and
Okay,
they kind of, what I'm saying, set them up really
right. For when they went on the when they
when
had
they
the
went to
date.
dinner.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So he meets Tiffany and he learns about Tiffany's life, her husband ends up committing suicide.
No, no,
And
no. He got hit by a car. He was a cop. He got hit by a car, helping somebody change the tire.
oh, that's what she was talking about.
Yeah, she was like, "Did you ever hear what happened to my husband?" And she was like, "Something about they got into a fight or whatever." And he went to the store and like on his way home,
I
somebody.
thought he committed suicide.
No, my man was helping somebody fix a flat tire and got
Yeah.
hit by a car.
Okay. Okay. So it makes sense now as to why she was saying what she was saying. So who basically was pretty much outed as this whore who ended up losing her job because she ended up being depressed and she ended up being put on meds, and of course so was his name was
Pat.
Pat. I'm about to say Pete. Pat. So Pat kind of went through the same thing. They pretty much was just going through trauma, and then in the end they end up falling in love and living happily ever after. So where I was leaving off at was, you know what I'm saying, the story of it was pretty interesting because you have these two people who suffered this super, you know what I'm saying, these super big traumas. And in the midst of dealing with all that trauma and everything that they were going through, they ended up pretty much like helping each other, you know what I'm saying, deal with everything that they were going through. And what I thought was super interesting was how Pat's character, he just didn't give up on love. He was trying to get his ex-wife back, you know what I'm saying, trying to do all this stuff, but in the midst of everything else, like his best friend was going through marriage problems. And the whole
Mm-hmm.
time he telling his best friend, like, yo, get your marriage together, bro. Like you keep finding all these other ways to dodge everything instead of just focusing on that and getting your marriage together. And I thought that was an interesting thing that they added in or that they had in the movie too. But um all in all, I get why it won so many Oscars, especially with the everything that they were, you know what I'm saying, everything that it dealt with as far as trauma, as far as mental illness, as far as, you know what I'm saying, marriage, family, you know what I'm saying, like moving on from relationships, you know what I'm saying, accountability, like all of these buzzwords that we hear today, a lot of that was dealt with, and you know what I'm saying, put a spotlight was put on that in this movie. So I definitely understand why it won as many awards as it did, for sure.
Definitely, man, because like Pat had ended up, living really like his whole life, not even knowing that he was bipolar. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? He was undiagnosed bipolar, and so when he went through all of the shit, where I know like we had made fun of it earlier, but what I didn't mention because, like I said, I haven't seen this movie in like a year or so, or whatever. But like, yeah, it was through a Stevie Wonder song, but the reason why it really caused trauma was because that was their song for their wedding.
Right.
Like, so to
Which
sit there and think like for you to come home early from work and you hear, what I'm saying, your wedding song playing, but you see clothes, what I'm saying, leading up to the fucking shower. And then this is the shit that really piss you off. Is the fact of like he was like, yo, he sees his wife in the shower and he was like, oh well, I figured, what I'm saying, I go in there because we don't have sex in the shower. And for her to be having sex in the shower with another man, but you don't even have shower
is
sex with your husband, yo,
crazy.
boy. And then for my dude to say, what did he say? He said, come back at a better time. What the fuck did he
Yeah,
say? Oh, something about, I think it was something that he said. First of all, motherfucker, you know this is my wife, and you gonna say some shit. Don't even talk to me, my guy. Like, don't even talk to me. Yeah, you deserve to get your ass whooped. But
okay, okay. This is okay. So we differ on that.
no, well, this is the thing. Only reason I say that is because of the dude's response. Because personally, it's like if you know that this person is married,
Hmm.
don't say shit. You know what I'm saying? Let her, because this is her husband. You
I
do
agree.
the talking. You know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying? Now, because look, I've been in this situation before. Not shower. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? But like, no, I've been in this situation before.
yeah.
And, and I had told a friend of mine back then about how, I had ran up on both of them or whatever. And he was just, oh, I would have whooped his ass. I was like, fuck no.
Ain't no
I was
need.
like, yeah, ain't no need because at the end of the day, like that was my wife. Like he ain't got nothing to do with this.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah,
this
he
is
don't have no loyalty, bro.
yeah. So yeah. But I get that. I'm just saying from a dude to say what he said, it was something like come back at a better time. It was some fucking shit he said. It was like, okay, dude, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
But it was just the fact of like seeing that go down that way with your wedding song playing because it's just like there's no perfect way to do this shit, but it's just like you don't play your wedding song and do some shit that he probably said to her, yo, you know what I'm saying? You want to do something in the shower? I don't want to do that or whatever, and then you doing something with somebody else in the shower. It's like, come on. But for
So
him to have that,
that is something that I personally went through. Not the shower thing. I'm not talking about the shower thing, but um, like you, you know the situation. We've
yeah,
been in similar situations. And so I would ask, you know what I'm saying, for little things that happen, and it was always a fight or a problem or a big deal when I brought it up. Only come when I come to find out that everything that I was asking for was being done for somebody else. And so
yeah,
then I'm like, oh shit, like okay, so this is what this is what you're doing. Okay. It makes sense. Um, but but for me, I never had a chance to see the other guy. So for me, it wasn't never a thing where I had to deal with the other person. But even if that was the case, like I would have never even confronted that person. Because to me, I always feel like this person has nothing to do with what I got going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the only person that I really even had beef with was my ex-wife.
Yeah, because
You
that's
know,
the thing. Because I think that when you see like, because there's a whole bunch of videos on social media of people, catching their spouse cheating or whatever, and like
mhm.
they attack the same sex, and it's like, what for? It's
Yeah, I mean,
like,
and that's the thing too. Like, it wasn't even a situation to where I wanted to even fight or anything. I was just like, shit, this shit is over.
yeah,
I
and
was
then,
shackles.
but then the thing is like, and I say this a lot to people, and I don't know why people come to me for like fucking relationship advice, which is weird. But like, people will be like, they'll say things that they would do, and it's just like, and I would just say, yo, first of all, you'll never know what you would do in a situation until it happens. Like
Yeah,
everybody always say, oh, if somebody ever cheated on me, it's done, it's over, and it's just like, well, you don't know that until the shit happens because
absolutely.
everybody relationship is different. And he
Yeah,
took the approach of,
he
I'm
was
gonna
still
go. He was what?
he was still in love with that woman.
He was, and the thing is, it's like everybody love different. You know what I'm saying? Some people love harder than others and stuff like that. And what he did was, what you said earlier in the podcast? You said accountability.
Yeah,
One thing she was telling him was that he needed to lose weight.
well,
So
that
what
ain't
did
good.
he do? What did
That was
everybody?
an asshole.
It was. We figured out Nikki was an asshole. Like
Oh,
once
she was
once
mid.
once we heard more and more about Nikki, we like, yo, Nikki is an asshole.
Was mid, bro.
Man, okay, we'll get there when we get there. but like, but at the same time, it's like his whole thing was, wearing this trash bag so he
Hmm.
could lose weight because he wanted to show that he was mentally better and
Yeah,
physically better, so she
right.
would take him back. Like his whole thing was like, okay, yeah, you cheated on me, but you cheated on me because
Of
of
what I
this, and I would, yeah, exactly, because he started self blaming,
absolutely.
which that's what some people do sometimes. When somebody really loves somebody, they tend to look past what they did and look at themselves like what I could have done to prevent it.
Hmm.
But I think that once you get older and you experience certain things, what I'm saying, you start to learn things. You know what I'm saying? I think you learn more when you experience things. And I even view relationships different now because of shit that I went through in the past. And like,
Absolutely.
cause people like try to go through people's phones, people try to what I'm saying, put shackles on their spouse, and it's just like, yo,
Hmm.
someone's gonna do what they want to do. You
Absolutely.
can't stop anybody from doing anything that they don't want to do. So there's nothing that you can personally do to prevent it. So he looked at it like, oh well, she wanted me to lose weight, and when I lose weight, she's gonna want me back, and she's gonna see how good I am, and like so, he really didn't want to give up on his marriage, but what he wasn't realizing was it's not the whole thing of like if somebody cheat on you once, they'll cheat on you again. It's just more the fact of like Nick from the way it sounded like Nikki really never like fought with you fully anyway.
Oh, yeah, at all.
It just really seemed like she married him because what I mean, things was going cool at the time, but then it was like once they got deeper into their marriage, it felt like she was getting farther away from him and really talking to him and treating him like shit, really.
Mhm.
And like, cause that scene between him and Pat Senior at the
Yeah,
end,
yeah,
like even he said it. He was like,
yeah.
"Look," he was like, "Man, why you laughing, man? That was a real moment, man." He was like, "Yo," he
I'm only
said,
laughing because I've experienced that too.
because he was just like, he said,
Like,
"Look," he said, "I know I'm your dad, and I know you don't like listening to me." He said, "But if you ever listen to me now." He was like, "That girl loved you." He was like, "Nikki, I don't know if that bitch ever loved you, but he was like, but that girl love you, and you need to fix that shit. And it was just like, and that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes, like parents, they tell us shit when we young, but we be so caught up in shit. We be like, nah, that's my girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we think we know better at the end of the day. That's all it is, man.
Yep.
Because it's been a bunch of times when my parents have told me things, and I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe in fucking 1980 that worked. That shit ain't gonna and be like, well, I'll be damned. Like, yes, it did work out. But nah, for sure. What I thought was interesting too, though, was the fact that you brought up him dealing with being bipolar. And in a way, they kind of showed it, but they didn't really necessarily show it. But his dad was kind of like that too.
Yeah, they did show it. If you really paying attention, you see it.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was like subtle hints of it. But like even like the one scene where he was dropping him off to the stadium so he could go chill with his brother and tailgate. He was like, well, you know what I'm saying, Dad, I wish you could be here, but of course you can't be here because you're banned from the stadium. Punching that guy in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you as you watch this movie, you kind of see where he gets it from, which is a very interesting thing. And then not only that, too, like you also see a little bit of why he's kind of dealing with some of the shit he's dealing with because of, first and foremost, his dad's obsession with the fucking Eagles. Then his brother being so like, his brother like weirdly competitive when it really wasn't a need for it to be. You know what I'm saying? And then like, you know what I'm saying, he had a best friend who was kind of like going through what he was going through, but not really excuse me, not really confronting his own problems. And then, you know what I'm saying, like the situation with Danny that I thought was fucking crazy because I don't know how the fuck he kept getting out.
This motherfucker got out 3 times.
Yeah, I don't know how. Well, the first time he escaped or tried to escape, and they took him back. Then the second time he was like, "Yeah, I'm out, I'm good." Then they came back and got him, and then the third time he finally got out. I thought it was good at, you know what I'm saying, they made Danny a stable. They made Danny's character stable enough to when he finally got out, you seen that he was a good friend to Pat because I think that's really what he needed. Like, and I thought it was important for, you know what I'm saying, us to kind of see him go through his situations with his family and then also go through the situation with the friend that he grew up with, his best friend, but then to see, you know what I'm saying, his connection with Danny and how good Danny is, and how cool Danny was. You know what I'm saying? Like when Danny came over from his second attempt to get up out of there, and he, you know what I'm saying, his dad had him holding the handkerchief and the remote, and he was like, "Yeah, you gotta sit up a little bit." And you got, you know what I mean? Like I thought that was dope to see because it's like, okay, you know that this dude, like, you know, when they were there together, you know this dude had his back, and you know that, you know what I'm saying, there was something there that was helping him get through, or helping them both get through that situation through that friendship, and I thought that was good to see.
Man, let's stay on Pat Senior because I thought he was my favorite character throughout this whole shit. And like, yeah, and you brought up a great point of the fact of like he had a lot of those characteristics as well. And even in that car scene when he was like, "Yo, that's something that we got in common." When he said you punch those people in the face, that's something we got in common.
Yeah,
and he was like, "That's where we are alike." And he had a lot of those traits, but also when it comes to superstitions, like there's some shit that's small. Like we was talking off camera, right? And so I was like, "Yo, we got to talk about this because this shit is real." I used to be the person. I'm sitting here watching my nose. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Miami scored a touchdown. I moved to another part of the couch. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, we gonna score. I ain't sit over here. We ain't got no touchdown. So, and then if they score while I was sitting there, I don't want to move. Like, I don't even want to use the bathroom. My God, like.
Superstition in sports is for sure real, bro. I don't swap jerseys until we lose. Whatever jersey I put on at the beginning of the season, that jersey it keeps getting worn until we lose, and then I'll go get the different jersey, put that on until we lose.
Right, that's what I'm saying, dude. Let me tell you what I did last year. So and I'm telling y'all, this shit is now. I'm not. If you've seen this movie, I'm not this. Like the reason I'm bringing this up because Pat Senior went way too motherfucking far. He was fucking bipolar.
Bro, he had envelopes numbered for his bets on the games. That's crazy.
And knew one was missing.
Yeah, that's wild, bro. And it wasn't even being used.
Yo, that shit was wild as fuck, man. When he would move the remote when the game came back on. I'm talking about now. People may think I'm crazy too. Whatever, I don't care. But like, so 2 years ago, Florida State had a decent year. Like they started coming on towards the end, but it was a decent year. They ended up winning like I think they won 7 games or some shit like that. All right, so I had a picture on my Facebook, the background picture joint. I had a background picture joint of some Florida State shit. You know what I'm saying? When I had went to the game a couple years ago or whatever, and we had a decent season. It was 7-6. That's what it was. All right. So I'm like, when this past season started, I was like, you know what? Last year, I promoted my nose. We didn't play too well, so I ain't gonna put that shit up this year. We ended up winning 10 games. So you know what I'm doing this year? I ain't putting up shit. You know what I'm saying? We won 10 games last year. So I ain't putting that shit up. Like I'm superstitious to that point, but I have gotten to the point where I watch games now and I'm like, yo, Sean, you moving from one end of the couch ain't changing shit. Okay.
Don't you believe that?
Man, no. I believe it now.
The MCU has taught us anything. If time travel, anything that you do can change the course of time forever. So you never know. If you wear the wrong socks one day and your team loses, that's the reason your team lost.
I mean, look, I still got some superstitions because, like, dude, I got these Reebok Zigs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, every time I wear them bitches to work, man, something happens.
Can't wear them no more, bro.
I don't wear them no more.
Can't wear them no more, bro. I'm with you.
I'm talking about just shit like I either get caught in traffic for fucking ever. One day I wore them bitches and they just sprung a damn driver on me. Hey, he riding with you today. I'm like, what the fuck?
Nah, yeah,
like,
wearing them. Yeah.
So it's just like, dude, I'm not gonna sit and act like I'm not superstitious, but Pat Senior took that shit to the extreme, my guy. I'm talking about, and that's how it's like. That's why I think that in the one scene that really got me was when he had the conversation with Pat when he was in the bed, and he was just like, and he started talking to him, and then he started crying. He was like, maybe it's my fault. He said, I spent more time with your brother than I spent with you. And he was just saying how much he needed him and, wanted him to get better and all this type of shit because he wanted him to, to go to the game or whatever. Yeah. But, like, his superstition, man, like, dude, when they came back, now, because that whole shit, that whole fight with him, because this is the thing. At the end of the day, now, I know it's a little different from me and you because, we went through our situations or whatever. But from this movie, Pat and Dolores been together for years, right? And, yeah, you my son, yeah. But if you go through an episode and you hit my wife upside the head, hey, that would be your ass, but everybody jumped on his ass, boy. Like, hell no. You my son, but boy, don't hit your mama.
Me and my ex-wife today don't see eye to eye. But my son bought his fist up at her one time. That's all he ever needed to do in his life. And I wore off on his little ass. And I told him, I said, don't you ever in your life do that to her again. That's one thing you gotta instill in your kids, man, is that your parents are your parents. No matter what you go through, no matter what you've been through. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, some people get dealt a shitty hand and get some of the worst parents on the planet. But they still your parents, though. And you know what I'm saying? And if you don't respect your parents, then you'll never respect nobody else.
You know what I'm saying? People that raised you, fed you, clothed you, and you don't respect them, you ain't gonna respect nobody.
And granted, like, you know what I'm saying, he did go through an episode, of course, but just that just that instinct to protect his wife. I think that's what it was that kicked in to where it was like, yeah, this is my son, but this is my wife though. Like, you gotta chill, my man. Like, I know you going through something, and I know you dealing with something, but don't forget, I might be a little older, but I still whoop your ass.
Hey, yeah, old man street, man.
Speaking of, nigga, was Peach the only cop?
Yo.
What the
Well,
fuck?
he was the only one that was on that case, man.
Every fucking time.
No,
I'm
he
talking
pissed me.
this is when it kicked in to where I thought about this. When they went out to the little diner or whatever.
Yep,
and
I
she
was
had
getting
her
there.
episode, and then he started, going through his episode when he pulled up. And I'm like, okay, now I know that they ain't just outside like, hey, Pat Satalano is outside having a fucking fit with some lady. Ain't nobody calling them doing that. So they just called the police, and this nigga shows up. So you mean to tell me this nigga in the area at all times? Like, come the fuck on, man. They need more police officers on that force, bro. Because goddamn.
And this is where I was about to say, but then I remember he came during the day to pick up Danny, but he also was there at nighttime too. Like one time, it was 3 o'clock in the morning when he threw that book out the window. It was him. This motherfucker don't never get a day off.
He was the only cop. Every time something happened, this nigga shows. I'm like, fam, you don't got no partner. You ain't got a like you ain't got a detective to send out or nothing. Like, come on, man. And everything the thing that was making me mad, bro, was every time something happened, bro, the first things niggas say, we gonna send you back to Baltimore. Fam, leave this man alone, man. God
exactly.
Damn. It must have been
I know
whooped on or something when he caught them in the shower or something, bro. Because he had a beef with him for nothing, it seemed like.
it did, but then that one part kind of pissed me off. And this is what the question I wanted to ask you. So during that scene, he was just like, now she was wrong for what she did, by saying that he was harassing her and all of that type of shit. Cause look, man, that whole playing the victim shit, man, it's not a good look at all. So she played the victim. Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah, he said something that upset her or whatnot. But for her to go off like that, and then she seen, I think what it was, and that was another reason. Like, even the first time I watched this movie, I mean, you kind of already know, they're gonna end up falling in love, like that. But really, really changed it.
Gave it away for real though.
Was when the song was playing, because he told her at the table that sometimes that song will be playing in my head and music is not even playing.
Right.
So she saw the look on his face and she knew, like, yo, the song is not playing. Like, you're good. Like, just, take a deep breath. You can't let the song own you or whatever. But the part that I really want to talk about, what pissed me off, is when my man was like, wait a minute, you're Tiffany. You want to get a copy of those time? And he was like, yo, man, she don't do that no more. Now, whole phase, right?
Wait a minute though. Before we move into that, I want to say because I thought this was super interesting, that the way that they threw that scene in there all together. So remember, he was asking her about what had happened, and she basically was telling him that she went through the whole staff or whatever, and then he was asking her how many people it was and was it women and all that other stuff. And when she explained what happened with the boss, she had said that they fired her. And now that's not a normal thing. Usually when a woman claims harassment or something like that, then usually the boss will get fired.
Yep.
But then she said that she got fired. And then they actually showed us what kind of, basically what probably ended up happening. When she was talking about harassment. Because remember, she started going off on him and she was grabbing him. And then she just broke off and started saying, he harassing me, you harassing me. And I wonder if, like that's what the the whole firing thing was, because I thought that was interesting to see all that play out.
Well, I also think that the boss had ammunition knowing that she slept with like 11 other people in the company. So it's kind
Absolutely.
of like, yo,
She had every,
you don't have like you don't have no say so to say. Like even if you say, yo, he harassed me, he could be like, yo, you slept with everybody in here. What makes you think they're gonna take your word over mine?
everybody fighting over.
Yeah. So she really didn't have any, you know what I'm saying, strong leg to stand on because of what she did with the other people in the company. And like my whole thing was like I'm a person like when I look at shit like I was dating this one girl that like wanted to know about my history and all this type shit. I'm like, what the fuck for?
Mm-hmm.
Because my thing is like, yo, you did what you did, I did what I did. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the present and the future. Because I think see, I'm a type of person I don't want to know. Because my question to you was like if you knew, because my thing is I think most people, not girls, just people, go through a whole phase in their life.
Absolutely.
And like my whole thing is like,
I want to know, did you go through it?
Yeah, I'm cool with knowing. Like for me personally, I'm gonna assume that you did anyway.
Nah, I need to know.
I just because my thing is because I feel like everybody sexual experiences are different.
Right.
And certain people are gonna look at certain shit as nastier or whatever and all this type of shit like that. And it's just like
I'm not even talking about that. I just need to know, did you or did you not go through it? Because if you didn't, that means that it's still on the horizon. That means it's still
boom. Yes, you are 100% correct.
I need to know you've already gotten that out the way. Because if you didn't, then what happens if we together and the whole phase hit? Because the whole phase creep up on you. It ain't nothing you can just pick and choose. It just happens. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a random event. It's a random event in your timeline. You never know when it'll come. For some, it's early. For some, it's late.
For you, you are 100% correct. That's why, like the whole thing of like, oh, this girl was, and then look, if y'all did it, this is completely fine. I'm just speaking for myself. Like, I could have like never like married like my high school sweetheart. It's like, yo, like, oh man, we've been together since middle school, high school, and she's on stuff with me, and I on stuff with her. Yo, like you said, that whole phase is gonna happen at some point because it's like, yo, I don't even know what else is out there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It just, I feel like you should go through it, get it out the way, and when you find that person, it's like, you know what? That's why I went through what I went through to get to you. You know what I'm saying?
I don't want a woman unless she had a whole face.
See, that's why I was gonna ask, because I was gonna ask you, like, when it came to Tiffany, cool, I'm with it. Because I was gonna say, when it comes to Tiffany, knowing Tiffany's story, you know what I'm saying? And what I liked about Tiffany was she was upfront with it.
Yeah,
like she didn't try to hide it. She was like, yo, I was hurt, and that was the way she coped to get through
it. Excuse me. To me, that wasn't the whole phase though, which is interesting.
So that was just grieving.
Yeah, I feel like that was like that was her way of dealing with her trauma. That wasn't no whole phase. Like a whole phase is when like you just out here, like ain't nothing wrong with you. You just like most people say they get theirs through college. I had mine in high school, but you know what I'm saying. Like I said, for some it's early, for some it's late. But for her, I never felt like that was the thing. Like even when she was saying like they were calling her a whore or everything else, but they wasn't. I don't think people was understanding what she was going through. Like when she explained it at the end, she was saying how her and I think his name was Tom, they wasn't having sex towards the end. Things was changing. She, you know what I'm saying? They was growing apart. And then not only that, once he passed, basically she never got to end that relationship or even mend that relationship. It just, you know what I'm saying? She was kind of forced out of the relationship because of him passing. And now she has to deal with her husband dying. She got to deal with the fact that she's already going through depression. Like it's a bunch of shit that was stacked on top of what she, you know what I'm saying, what she was going through. And for her, you know, the obviously the thing that was making it better was the fact that, you know what I'm saying, somebody would want her at a time. And then we kind of seen that too when he had went up to the door about with the when he was looking for her with the letter.
Yep.
And the other dude had came up and he was like, yeah, you know, she's my girlfriend and everything else. But she was texting him, but she didn't really want him to be there. She was basically just texting him for the comfort and for the attention. So I
Yep.
felt like she was dealing, like in that moment, she was dealing with a lot of shit. So like going through that, like that's I'm not gonna say a normal thing, but it's not something that's like that's not, you know what I'm saying, possible.
Abnormal.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? It's people out here that they feel like that is attention to them. You know what I'm saying? Having sex with people is a form of attention. And if they feel like that's the only form of attention that they can get, sometimes they go down that path. So I definitely, you know what I'm saying, understood what she was going through. And then when she tried to explain it in the diner, you could see that even when she was talking to the police officer, you know what I'm saying? When you mentioned him and he was saying, like, oh, you want to grab a drink after? And she was like, yeah, when she said, like, I'm the such and such whore. And then she did the air quotes. And it's like, yeah, because she knows that that's not her. She knows that that's not what it was about. She understand, like, and it seemed as if at that time when she was talking about it, she kind of understood that that was her way of grieving.
Yeah, because there are some people like, dude, there are some people out here who cannot be alone, cannot not be in a relationship. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So it's just like now everybody deals with shit differently. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody isn't the same. So it's just like you can't really I mean you can if you want to sit back, you could judge a person for what they do and the decisions that they make, but it's more of like everybody got their different ways of doing things. And it's just like for me, it was just more of like when, you know, when me and my ex-wife had, you know, split up, it was more of like, all right, let me lay back, let me regroup, and you know what I'm saying, and let me get my shit together. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I didn't really start even trying to even date anybody till like 7, 8 months later. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So it was just like, you know, but I took that time like for myself. So like, but there are some people who they'll jump into shit because that's the only way that they know how to function. Like they need that attention from somebody.
Right.
And like you said, you brought up a great point with them not having sex at the end and for him to die suddenly. And it's not like he was sick. He died
Right.
suddenly. And so it's like the only thing that she can really remember is like, oh shit, like we wasn't having sex and I wanted to, but he's not here. So
Mm-hmm.
and then like let's be real, like there's some people who know, yo, I know if I offer up the box, they're gonna come.
Oh,
You know
yes.
what I mean? So
Oh,
like
yes.
that's what she was doing. And you're right, it wasn't a whole phase, it was just like her way of grieving. And the only reason I brought it up to you is because it's like for the like see the thing about Philadelphia is a big city, but I'm pretty sure like it's broken up into like counties of like well a lot of people
Apparently
it's
so.
it's
You got one cop in this one area.
but I was just gonna say like everybody knew what she was
Yeah.
doing around the way. And
Yeah.
Pat, even though Pat his thinking was unorthodox, he wasn't like everybody else because he was a little bipolar. But what I thought was really cool was the letter at the end when he was telling her, like, you know, you ain't never got to talk to me again. Just read the letter. And the
Mm-hmm.
one part in that letter was the only person that it was something about the only person that could know my crazy is to do something crazy.
Yeah.
Because her whole thing was like she used Nikki
Mm-hmm.
for motivation for him to spend time with her, basically. And that's crazy as fuck.
I
But
mean,
they
I
met each
don't
other's crazy.
I don't know how he believed it. This is the thing too. He was so oblivious to her whole motive the whole time. You could obviously see that she was falling in love with this man. It was clear as day. I just don't see how he couldn't tell that she was falling in love with him.
I think because he's dealing with his dad. This motherfucker is reading the syllabus of his ex-wife's school syllabus. And yo, that whole book scene was crazy as fuck. This motherfucker read the whole book and threw that shit right out. And you want to talk about funny? He said, "What the fuck?" He tossed that goddamn book out the window and woke his parents up at 3:00 in the morning. That shit was hilarious, dude. I'm talking about, to me, that shit was funny.
Him thinking that reading those books off her syllabus was going to help him get her back. That was a horrible idea. When he said that, you know what I thought?
What?
Like, fam, that's not gonna get you nowhere, bro. What the fuck does that have to do with getting this woman back? You're not taking her class, you're trying to fall in love with her.
Okay, now play devil's advocate. We on a podcast.
Yes.
Because personally, let me get my personal opinion out of first. She's gonna be like, obviously, you need to go back to the hospital because that's crazy as fuck. But to play devil's advocate, if he reads those books, then he would have a conversation starter.
Or he'd know what her class was like, because how did he know she read those books?
What she's had, but at the same time, yo, you remember in the Hemingway book when this and this and this happened, and she could be like, oh yeah, then this and this, and then they can go through their different theories. So devil's advocate, you know what I'm saying? No, it's not. It's not, because
did you read my syllabus? And that not even more, and she extends the restraining order.
Restraining order, yeah, because that's some crazy. It really is some crazy shit. But like but Tiffany's whole motivation of like, yo, I'm gonna use what's her name? I just said Nikki's. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This whole I'm gonna give her a letter shit. It was just like it. Like you said, our crazy met each other crazy. But I'm gonna tell you the scene I fuck with though.
Yeah.
The scene I fuck with though is when Pat and his brother and why did the doctor? I don't know why the doctor came back to the house with them after the whole fight at the fucking game. Yeah, but why did the doctor come back to the house with them?
Oh, I don't know, but I maybe to explain to his dad like it wasn't his fault.
Like, you know what? Great idea.
Because that's the only thing I could think of too. Because remember the dudes that just came past and just started messing with them, and I'm like, what the fuck kind of fans are these?
Exactly.
We talking about the Eagles. These niggas booed Santa Claus. I mean, so maybe that shit do happen, but I thought that was crazy because I'm like, okay, this is before the game. Y'all supposed to be coming together as fans, and y'all messing with them because these niggas is, first and foremost, they outside. Curry don't smell that bad. It's not that bad. I recently had it, so I know it's not that bad. Second, these niggas was just a bunch of dick bags just going around fucking with people.
Yes.
They deserve to get punched in the fucking face.
They really did.
And third, Officer Peach was also at the fucking game, bro. That time, but he was at that game.
Man, that was just a casting thing, man. Like that was just him to get his check, man.
He was everywhere.
He literally was everywhere.
Him and Pat must have had some type of beef or something when they was young or something, bro. Because what the fuck was he the same arresting officer when he dude up for sleeping with his wife? Do we know
that? I don't know. But the way this movie went, he probably was. But so everybody's at the house, and so Tiffany's pissed off because he asked his dad, could he call Tiffany? And he was like, no or whatever. He was like, well, I'll just get my brother's phone. But he never called her because he was going to try to split the day with him. So she's sitting there waiting on him and shit. So he don't show up. She put on her coat. She jet over there. And like my favorite part is when, so Pat and them come in the house. What happened? what happened? What happened? And then he go to take the jersey off, and he couldn't get it off. They just had to keep that in there, dude. That was so funny because he could not get that jersey off, but he was struggling. So he's sitting there struggling.
That added to everything, though. That's what made it so good.
Yes. And so then he take out the jersey. He's fucking mad and shit. And so then she shows up and shows out.
Oh,
man, when she told him all of the times that her and Pat was together, the Phillies, the Eagles, everybody winning when they together. And then he like, you know what? You're right. He's like, I think I like you.
This is why I also fuck with Pat Senior though, because you gotta respect him. When he was wrong, he took it on the chin. He was like, you know what? She was like, you wanna? What's he say? Do you want to know something? He was like, I'm pretty interested to hear about it. Go ahead. I was like, respect. he definitely took it on the chin.
Man, Pat Senior was that guy, man. Look, Robert De Niro is a whole legend out here in these streets, man.
Absolutely, man.
Whole legend out here in the streets, man. And he killed it. I thought that that when that scene at the end, and then that scene there, and that scene when he was sitting there talking to him when he was in the bed, he started crying. I was like, yo, like this dude, like to really sit back and look at Robert De Niro's career of all the things that he done, from Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, and you know what I'm saying, going into a comedy lane, doing Meet the Parents and Meet the Fuckers and shit like that. Like this motherfucker is all over the, you know what I'm saying, the spectrum, and it's just like he never disappoints.
No,
never disappoints. Like every time this dude puts on a show.
What made that scene even funnier when he was crying, when he was sitting down on the bed crying, talking to him, what made it even funnier was the fact that that nigga woke him up initially to talk about the Giants game. Hey man, don't come wake me up talking about that, bro. God damn, I ain't get a good morning. He just, hey, come on, man, you got to get up. We got to get ready because, you know what I'm saying, this week we play the Giants, and if we beat them, then we got the division. Sir, I still got crust in my eyes. Give me a minute to get up first, bro. Like, God, oh.
This is true, but dude, we got to talk about Randy. Randy is a dirtbag friend,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely.
He's a dirtbag friend. You know, this man has put all his money that he's invested in his restaurant. And then you're gonna set together. First of all, if we really friends and you know I got a gambling problem, all right, don't take a bet with a parlay with me. Okay? And how bad he made the bet. This motherfucker gave him 10 points. It started out with 3, then he went to 10.
I'm gonna tell you why Randy really wasn't shit. Because Randy was a Cowboys fan.
Yes, in Philadelphia.
No. He wore every fucking team the Eagles played. He had on the Giants jacket, remember?
Yo, you know who he is? Do you watch
Wayne?
Country Wayne? Is it his brother or cousin or something? Every team the Cowboys play, he got a jersey on.
Yeah, literally. I start busting out rolling. Because I'm sitting there like, I seen him with the Giants jacket on. I'm like, hey, this motherfucker got a Cowboys hat on in the one scene. Like, what the fuck? The one scene where he came downstairs all hyped to give her the letter and shit. He had a Cowboys hat on that scene. I'm like, why do he keep so he just against the Eagles or something? And then when she said something like, yeah, your beloved Cowboys, I'm like, oh, this nigga's a Cowboys fan. Like, oh, that's crazy. That was ridiculous.
Yes, Randy was that dirtbag friend of like, yo, like, come on, you know, I got an issue. You come out here fucking with me. So I thought Randy was cool, but hold on, man. But we got to talk about this. And my son didn't get it at the time, so I'm sitting here and see, and he gets mad at me because I say shit because he don't see the whole movie. He just watching the part, and then he go talk about how it's stupid and how he don't understand. And say, why do you always say I don't understand? I said, because you ain't watched the whole fucking movie and you're commenting on shit that you don't get. Yeah, exactly. So this is what the whole dance scene joint, right? All right. So number 1, Jenifer Lawrence, Tiffany, killed that white outfit. Gotta say it. All right. Now, rewind for a second. When Daddy know what he was doing. and they put that shit in the dance routine.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole little scene where he had her doing the humping, he was looking at her titties the whole damn time. It was like that was a whole. You remember Pat jumped in. Like, all right, he did enough. He was like, hey, get out of here.
See, that's when I kind of knew that he was feeling her too, because
Yes,
every time Danny was dancing with her, he was like, "All right, that's enough of that shit."
it was like, yeah, we got it, we got it from here, Danny. We got it from here. So exactly. So they doing the dancing. Yo, when it came to the big move,
hey, if at any point in time you thought some shit was gonna go right in this movie, you mistakenly wrong, because that was the best part of the dance routine.
That was the best part.
He thought he was so ready, didn't work out.
Yo, you want to talk about a face full of crotch, my guy?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about, yo, that shit was so funny. So I'm sitting here dying laughing, right? And my son just looking at me. He didn't get it. He wasn't supposed to get it yet. You know what I'm saying? He's 13. He wasn't supposed to know what's funny yet. So then they're doing the scorecard. And they said they got a 5.0. And then everybody was like, damn, man, a 5. And then it's like, yeah.
Mike said, all right, everybody, we're going to take a break. He said, why are you so happy?
Why are you so happy about a 5? And he was like, even my son was like, he said, why are they so happy? He said they got a 5. And I said, see, son, I said, this is what makes me mad about you jumping in the middle of a movie. I was like, they did a bet and did a parlay, and the second part of the parlay was they had to get a 5.
You want to parlay with an Eagles game and a dance competition is crazy.
Yo, that is ridiculous.
Yes. What?
Yo.
That is why. Only thing they had to get was a 5. That's like you basically just gotta go out there and dance.
No. See, I like the way the movie set us up, because that first dance routine, you know what I'm saying? My man that had the hips, but he was in it.
I like the way the camera was moving, because as he walking, like they was following him. I was like, oh yeah, this is crazy.
But dude, they got like a fucking 7 something. So they was setting you up. Even one of them got a 6.9. So they was setting you up to be like, yeah, but they about to get some 2s and some 3s. But the dance,
it like an 8 or something.
It wasn't bad. Like, yeah, you could tell they weren't professionals, but how they threw the little rock joint in there when they would jump, when the shit that Danny did, that was the best part.
It was a real good dance routine. Nothing was wrong with it at all.
Yeah.
Now dance,
I ain't mad.
Probably wouldn't have made it to the next level, but it was a pretty good dance routine.
Yeah, and I'm not mad at the face and the crotch.
No, not mad at all. You never be mad about that. That's
I'm not mad at it. But yeah, Randy is an asshole, and he deserved to lose that bet.
Yeah.
Okay. I love the look on his face when he saw he got 5.
Hey, and it was double or nothing too. Oof.
Double or nothing. So he had to give him his money back, and on top of that,
yeah, he was sick.
Like that's what your ass get, Randy. Damn dirtbag, bandwagon jumper.
All in all, man, like what I do appreciate about this movie is the fact that, you know, it gave you a real look into real life topics and real stuff that everyday people go through. And none of it was like this romanticized or fantasy, you know what I'm saying, solutions. It was not, it was like real deal stuff. Like, yeah, like he was really on, you know what I'm saying? He's dealing with the fact that he's trying to get his wife back. But in the midst of that, this woman who says that she's going to help him, he ends up spending time with her and realizing that, you know what? Nah, I don't need my wife back. This is somebody I'm really enjoying right now. I'm enjoying my time with this person. We learning about each other. Not only that, she's kind of going through something that I'm going through as well. And so they was spending time with each other, and you know what I'm saying. And with her, through her POV, it was more so like, I really like this guy, you know, especially when the scene where they was on the porch and he was saying like, yeah, you know, she's somebody with broken wings and you have to let her mend her wings. You know what I mean? Like, she's a good person, she's smart, she's funny, she's intelligent, and all these other things. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell that he appreciated her, but I think that kind of grew into something bigger once they really start talking with each other and dealing with each other and going through, you know what I'm saying, all that time spent with each other. And to me, like, that's something that you could really see, like them showing, you know what I'm saying, his relationship with his parents. That's real stuff. You know what I'm saying? Even the situation with his brother, like his brother naming all these things that's happening great for him, but then he named all the bad thing that's happened in the past. And it's like, come on, y'all, like this, we don't fight about this right now. You know what I'm saying? It showed you his growth as well as her growth too. And I like that too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they really did a great job with dealing with all of these problems that people are going through and showing you that, you know what I'm saying, this is something that is possible to happen if you have the right environment around you. You have the right people around you. I thought that was good to put in there.
Yeah, you brought up all great points, man. And even the scene where Pat Senior and Dolores was talking, and he was just like, "Yo, you you're gonna have a problem with me doing this." He was like, "I had a problem when you was calling Tiffany, telling him, you know, where he runs and what time he runs and all type of shit like that." And so
Mhm.
like you could tell that both was trying to help Pat, but even though both of them was disagreeing with what each other was doing, the shit ended up still working out, and they ended up finding a common ground, you know,
Right.
within each other. You know what I'm saying? Because both of them wanted to help Pat, just both of them felt it was different ways. They both had different ways of trying to help him, but in all actuality, ended up working out just fine.
Yeah.
And but also what was great about the scene when Tiffany was telling them about all of the shit about, you know, with her and Pat being together, how that works out, well for both of them really.
Mhm.
When Pat went outside, he looked back over that letter and he realized, because this is another thing, when you're married to somebody, you know how they talk. You know how
Absolutely.
they put shit together. So he reread that letter again and realized Nikki didn't write this shit.
No.
He was like, she wrote it. And that scene when she was trying to put on the fucking tie for him, the way he was looking at her, like he knew. He was
Mhm.
like, yeah, like she's the one. But he had already written that one note,
Yeah,
you
he
know,
said he
for
wrote
her
it.
2 weeks ago. Yeah, two
Yeah.
weeks earlier. So he
Oh,
knew he was just like letting her, go along with the lie and all that type of shit. Even though she really didn't think Nikki was gonna show up. And that was fucked up.
yeah.
What's that mother? Julia Stiles. Listen, you was my girl back in the day, but Veronica, you was fucked up. I ain't like you as
It
Veronica,
wasn't her,
Julia Stiles.
remember? It wasn't her.
No, yes, it was.
It was
Remember?
a friend.
No, but it was Veronica's idea though.
I thought
Veronica.
that his friend had said he told me about the dance competition and Nikki or something about Nikki coming or whatever. And then I thought he had said something to Veronica to get her to come.
I thought Veronica had said because Tiffany went up to her. She was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And then, cause she was like, Nikki still like, "What the fuck?" And then Veronica was like, "I could
Remember,
have
she
swore
was the
she,
first one. She was she walked in first. That's why she was talking to Veronica. Because remember, what's his name?
Ronnie."
Yeah, he came up behind her and he was like, you got to give him a chance to, you know what I'm saying, work it out. He kept telling me about loving my marriage and working on my marriage. You got to give him a chance.
But that was okay. Well, Ronnie, that was fucked up
For sure.
because they knew that Tiffany liked him, and they knew what Tiffany went through,
Mm-hmm.
and to sit there and really have, and then my thing is, yo, if you put a restraining order on somebody, you don't break the fucking 500 feet rule or whatever the fucking thing is.
That's a great point. I didn't think of that shit through that whole scene. I totally forgot about the restraining order.
Yo,
That
that's
was a
fucked
great
up.
point.
You could have set my man up.
Yeah, Officer Peach would have been there. Hey, no, that's a great fucking point though, bro. You know what? I didn't think about that one time.
Man, that was the first thing I thought of. Was like, yo, you got a restraining order on this man, and you're gonna show up the way he is. That's fucked
Yeah,
up.
that's crazy.
But I like how the movie set it up though. I like how he went over there and started whispering in her ear.
Put her
You know
shit
what I'm
down.
saying? Because he realized like when he read that letter
Mhm.
and realized that Tiffany wrote it. I think he realized like, yo, Tiffany ain't not Tiffany, but Nikki really didn't fuck with me like that.
Okay,
Like,
so do you think the whispering in the ear was a better thing than him saying whatever he had to say out loud, like having that big speech moment? Because I didn't like the fact that he whispered in her ear because I wanted him to tell her off.
well, I can see why you would want that. I
Yeah.
think I think they left it unheard for the audience for the simple fact of we really didn't need to know the details of what he said to her. And the way that she smiled, like we could kind of get it. It was more like, you know what I mean? I would assume it was more like, look, we had our run, but I thought I wanted you back, but I
Mhm.
want to, try this thing with, Tiffany or whatever, whatnot. But
Fuck that.
I know
Vanilla
what yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
ain't shit. You put me through so much, and you got the gall to show up here tonight and show your fucking face.
She really
I,
could have fucked the whole shit up.
absolutely.
If he really wasn't better, that song could have started playing in his head. And he would have fucked up all the dance moves.
Speaking of, wasn't they dancing to his wedding song? Was that the same
No,
song in the
no,
beginning?
no,
Was
no. Uh-uh. No, no,
mm,
no. The only time we heard the Stevie Wonder song was, what I mean, when he went into the doctor's office and when they re-showed the whole thing,
and then
when
the night
and
the
at the when she said he was harassing her.
yeah, but so what they was playing the Stevie Wonder song during the dance routine though.
I don't remember that song being playing through that.
Okay, I gotta go back and watch it now because now
Yeah, now I gotta go back because I don't remember that song being played. But I don't know. I just like the way that they ended it. Like, yeah, I get you on the whispering in the ear part, but but when he walked away from her and went to his dad, and his dad had that conversation with him, it
yeah,
was
that was
just like, yo, yeah, that was real. And then for her to read the letter and to get it, like that was dope the way they put that up, man. But also at the same time, that's the shit that make life scary. You know what I'm saying? Because motherfuckers think this is how shit gonna play out. Man, this
yeah.
is a movie, man. Like, this is a movie, man. It's not real life out here in these streets. Well, it might be real life for some people. It might be
I,
real life for some people.
I will say this though, as a man, the letter thing that's kind of player.
It is.
I think you could definitely get some cheeks off of that using that move.
But this guy right
Not
here.
the letter,
He said you can definitely get some cheese.
yeah, for sure.
Oh man, that's funny.
Hey man, you when you see things, man, it's the little things that they love. So you gotta do little shit like that to reel them in. Um,
Oh yeah.
so let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's get into the fire flames.
Let's do it.
Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
All right, man. What you got, Brody?
All right, man. First and foremost, something that we didn't cover, which everybody probably already know, man. We talking about Bradley Cooper. We got Jennifer Lawrence, Robert De Niro, Chris Tucker, John Ortiz, Julia Stiles. Like, I'm talking about like heavy hitters. And the way that this movie played out with the award, like you said in the beginning, it was award worthy.
Yeah,
And I gotta give it to him, man. I haven't gave out one in a minute, man. But I fucks with this movie, and I'm gonna give it a 5. I'm gonna give it 5, man.
What?
I am. I fuck with it. I get.
Okay.
I fuck with it, man. I know some of the shit was a little cheesy with the same cop always showing up, whether it's 3 a.m. or 12
That's
o'clock in
actually
the
my fault.
afternoon.
I'm sorry. The whole time I'm like, bro, this nigga is the only cop on the clock.
but really though, I think Bradley Cooper, like I think that this was when he really, really showed his range.
Yeah,
Because I think his acting in this movie might have been the best acting I've ever seen him do.
this is
And
this. Yeah. Oh,
see that's why I'm so highly regarded because the scene where before he hit his mom and
mhm.
like he was like screaming, he was like, I don't care, my whole neighborhood hears me. Like it was just like for him to play a bipolar person,
Yeah.
I just thought that he did a really, really good fucking job at it, man. And like I said, Robert De Niro killed it. I think Jennifer did a really, really good job, at
Mhm.
playing Tiffany. But I fucks with it, man. I think they put together a really good movie, man. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Okay, so like you said about the cast, all-star cast. But I think because of the cast, it was it was the reason that they won so many awards. Because I don't think you could pull this off with one or two stars. You have to have multiple stars in a movie as layered as this one, right? Because you need that veteran skill set to be able to pull off so many different things. Because like when you talk about Robert De Niro, you need that range from Robert De Niro to be able to be funny and to be able to be, you know what I'm saying, the older angry dad, and also the, you know what I'm saying, the caring and loving dad. And then you need a guy like Chris Rock, who I mean, so I'm sorry, Chris Rock, Chris Tucker, who can play serious, you know what I'm saying, and play a serious role, but also have those, you know what I'm saying, comedic moments. You need a guy like Bradley Cooper, who at this is right before, well, not even right before. This is like why he's skyrocketing. You know what I'm saying? Like he had this, he had Hangover, and like a bunch of other movies he was doing around this time. So you know what I'm saying? Like you got a guy who is, you know what I'm saying, like right in his stardom, and then you got Jennifer Lawrence as well, who is in her stardom. You know what I'm saying, at the same level. Um, being able to play all of these different, you know what I'm saying, moods and personalities, and you know what I'm saying, doing everything that they did, and then to put everybody else around them to be able to feed off of that and play off of that. I think that's what really made this movie so award worthy. Um, However, the only thing that I kind of had a gripe about was just the fact that they made it like it felt like they stretched out the love story. Right, because I would have really enjoyed seeing them fall in love earlier and seeing him have to deal with, you know what I'm saying, seeing Nikki while he was with Tiffany. You know what I'm
I
saying?
see
And
what
have
you're saying.
to deal with that way. And not only that, like even the situation like with even with his brother, I would have liked to kind of see more of that relationship kind of play out a little bit more too. And I'm sure in the book that probably did, because you know you can put a lot of shit in the book,
Yeah.
but with a movie you only got so much time. But I those are two things that I definitely would have loved seeing. Like we got a chance to kind of see him and his brother, but we didn't really, you know what I'm saying, get to see them have that relation that have their relationship on screen. And then, like I said, I would also like to see, you know what I'm saying, him being with Tiffany and then seeing Nikki. Um, I would also like to see a little bit more of Ronnie and Veronica. I thought that would have been important for us to see a little bit more of them on screen. So for that, I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I'm
ain't
gonna go
mad at it.
for sure. All right, man. So now that that's out the way, you gave it a 5. I gave it a 4. Let's get into the coming soon.
Let's do it.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
Now, this is going to be an exciting episode only because this is right up your alley. You know what I'm saying? This is your wheelhouse. This is what you do. These are the types of movies you enjoy. We doing a horror movie this next episode, man. We doing Ghost Ship. And Ghost Ship is an interesting movie for sure. Once you see how it all plays out, like it's interesting.
Ghost Ship, I don't remember it that well. I probably only seen it once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
But that beginning scene, that's something you ain't never gonna forget, boy.
That's an unforgettable scene like a mug, bro. That to me,
I'm
that's one of
telling
the greatest intros into a horror movie I've
Yes,
ever seen.
yes, man. I don't know if it was a wire or whatever the fuck that motherfucking thing was. Yo, that
That
was
was
wow.
crazy. Yeah,
That
was
was
great.
wow.
That was a great setup into a movie, a horror movie.
It
I'm sorry,
was.
that was a great setup into a horror movie.
It
So,
definitely was.
ladies and gentlemen, listen here, listen here. If you enjoy Silver Linings Playbook, if you were on the bandwagon of Silver Linings Playbook, if you, like so many other women who went to go watch this movie, dream about a relationship and having a guy write a letter to you and saying the things that Bradley Cooper said to Jenifer Lawrence, hit us up on social media, man, on Twitter and Instagram at View9Pod. You could also hit us up on Facebook, VA Pod Watch Group. Don't forget, we have a community on Twitter where you could jump in, talk about all the movies and television you like, and chat it up with us. Also, if you are following the podcast, be sure to subscribe. It's only $2.99 a month, and you get extra episodes on top of the 2 we give you every week. So definitely subscribe, like the podcast, share the podcast with a friend, let somebody know. It will be greatly appreciated. And if you are on Apple or Spotify, make sure you give us a rating too, please. And if you'd like to follow me, hit me up on Twitter at Schools Bronson. I have a link tree in there where you can follow me everywhere else there.
Yep, and y'all can find me at s.foster8 on Instagram and on Twitter at 28 minutes or less pod. That's just on IG. Follow the podcast 28 minutes or less. It's on all major platforms. Last episode is 128, which was the Bear season 2. So go check that out on all major platforms, and that's all I got.
Cool. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, it is greatly appreciated. Until the next episode, like they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.